peace, only war.
What is up, gents? 40k Dirtbags here. We got a tournament result for you. We actually ran the Iron Warriors detachment. Iron Hands, the Iron Warriors for an RTT, a local RTT. It was about 20 plus players. We wanted to run kind of something that you don't really see that often. And this was actually voted on the Patreon page over at Discord. So if you guys haven't joined Discord, definitely head over to join Discord. The guys are freaking awesome over there. But we're going to go over 3 games in this battle report. Usually I go over each game individually. But this was about 2 weeks ago, and I wanted to kind of just bring a video on tactics. What worked, what didn't work, what to improve on the detachment that I ran, what I liked about the detachment, and also what we learned about our opponents in the games that we played. Now, this is the first Pariah Nexus mission packet that we played at the RTT, so it came out I think a day before, so they kind of give us a little bit more time to practice and get our bearings straight with the missions. And the missions are so different when it comes to actions and getting everything ready and prepared and memorizing everything. So we learned a lot by playing this first RTT. We won it, which was cool, and we played a detachment that not a lot of people play. So that was kind of like a thing that we were just checking off. We played Night Lords. That was last weekend, and we won that RTT as well. So we are loving the Chaos Space Marine Codex. It's just so many different detachments, so many different ways to play this codex, which is so cool. So if you guys are a Chaos Space Marine player or want to get into the Chaos Space Marine faction, we got ranked number 2 in the world for Chaos Space Marines last year. We were ranked, I think, 51st in the world in general. So over at the Dirtbag Nation, us over here, 40k Dirtbags, we do a lot of coaching, tactics, all that stuff. So if you guys want to support us over at the Patreon page, you guys can just have a coach in your corner to ask questions, bounce ideas off of, and always go over a list you guys want to, test out for RTTs or stuff like that. That's kind of what the Dirtbag Nation is for. So if you guys are new to the channel, hit the like, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff. And then we do have merch, so we have new stuff for the merch. Our boy Sam's helping us out. We have a Tech Priest, which mostly Grey Knight players are going to be using. So we have a Tech Priest. We have Cypher, who's going to be used in every Chaos Space Marine list. We have Cypher, and then we have, I think, and just more Caldus. So we have Caldus, Codiez, Cypher's new, Tech Priest is new, and then the Phobos Lieutenant and Librarian is up for sale. All the stickers up for sale. The dice are 10% off, so if you guys want to order the dice, they are limited edition. Once they're sold out, they're sold out forever. And then the widgets are legit. So the widgets I use in every single game, they're really good. So it's the 6, 3, 1, 2, and 4-inch widgets. So we should be using them in every single game. We have a stream coming up as well. So if you guys are new, we have streams live, which we just bought the new mics for. So the last stream we just posted, it just sounded so good. The mics are the wireless mics. You could only hear us talking. It used to be you heard everybody in the entire room. Now you only hear us. So me and Mike are going to be playing Grey Knights versus Chaos Space Marines tomorrow night. By the time you see this video, you probably already saw the stream. But we're going to go over the list first. We'll talk about the list. It's going to be a little bit longer of a video. So if you guys want to fast forward to any specific games, we have the Robot Boys, Mechanicus. We have Blood Angels, and then our last game was against Chaos Demons. The Chaos Demons was just insane game. I cannot wait to talk about that game. So let's go over the list real quick, and then we'll get into the picture-by-picture, all 3 games of the RTT. All right, guys, so we got this up here. We're going to start it off. It is the Fellhammer Siege Host. Sorry, I messed up the name super hard. Core 1995. So we're 5 points off. So if there's anything you could switch it out. So with the new upgrade with the Chaos Lords, being able to do any strat for free is just busted. It's not busted. It's just really, 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 really good. So if you guys can bring Lords in your list, that's really what it's going to come down to for a really good Chaos Space Marine list. If you guys are running Chaos Cult like my crazy ass, then you don't need the Chaos Lords. But most of the other time, you're going to be bringing probably 2 to 3 Chaos Lords in every single Chaos Space Marine list. So here's the thing. This was fact that we can use Bastion Plate with Chaos Terminator Lord. So the Chaos Terminator Lord specifically says, or the Bastion Plate says, Chaos Lord model only. And then in the app, they say it might be a glitch that you can't add it to the Terminator Lord because he doesn't have the Chaos Lord keyword. So with this thing, it just got updated the day before with the new rules. So I still had it kind of like, I had it wouldn't allow me to add it, but prior it had it on there. So we were testing it out with the Terminator Lord. Now, I don't know if it's going to get fact. I would definitely ask your RTT coach or GT tournament organizer to see if you can use it that way, but it definitely helps out. It is really good Bastion play. It is a really good enhancement on the Terminator Lord. Just being able to blank a failed save. It's a failed save you get to blank. So the Terminators are almost unkillable in this detachment. With the detachment, everything that is +1 above your toughness. So if you're toughness 5 and they shoot you with a toughness 6, it's -1 to wound, which comes in play when you're shooting at anything like strength 8, 9, even sometimes 10. Basically, they can never wound you on 2s. So they're always going to wound you on 3s or 4s, if not 5s. So it's a really good addition to the enhancement, like to the Fellhammer Sichos. The -1 to wound is really, really good. Chaos Lord. So the Chaos Lord with the Iron Artifice. This is a anti-vehicle enhancement, which on a Lord, being able to just go Kamehameha one turn and just nuke a vehicle that you want to do, especially if you have Legionnaires with them, so that we get full rerolls to wound, you're going to blow up almost any vehicle in the game. And it actually came into play our last game in this tournament, which was crazy. We'll get into that. Then the Chaos Lord, like I said, the Bastion plate is actually on the regular Chaos Lord Terminator armor. This one was just bare bones. So the bare bones guy just kind of chilling out. The Chaos Lord Terminator armor, he has a combi weapon with the Power Fist. You can do Chain Fist, you can do Power Fist. I chose to go with the Power Fist just because hitting on 2s instead of 3s. I know you get 4 rerolls with the Terminators, but I like the Power Fist a little bit better. And then again, he had the Bastion plate. Then we have Cypher. Cypher literally is in every single list for Chaos. If you don't have one, we are selling them. They're coming in next week. So by the time you see this video, probably already in. So hit me up on Discord if you guys want a Cypher model. It's not exact Cypher model, but it's a really good proxy that you should be able to use in tournaments. So Cypher, amazing. The new Vect, amazing. Just bonkers if you play him correctly and safely and keep him till turn like 3 or 4, and then use them to you know, so people can't do -1 to hit, -1 to wound, like any strats that are gonna buff them. Now it's 2 CP, Fight on Death, Heroic Intervention, like all that stuff is just eating away their CP, and sometimes they don't even have a choice. So if they have 3 CP and they want to interrupt, it's going to cost 3 CP, so they go down to 0 in their turn. So Cypher is legit, should be in every single Chaos Space Marine list. Diabetes Bile, he was kind of like a toss-up. I used him a lot in the Chaos Cult detachment, so I was testing him out in this detachment because he gives the unit +1 toughness, so making a regular Marine toughness 5 with -1 to wound. Now the -1 to wound is only to shooting, which I should probably mention. So I wanted to test him out, see if it worked. He's still beat stick, like he hits pretty hard, gets back up on a 2+, and he just buffs the unit that he's in. So, and he negates a blank damage. So he can negate 1, and the Terminator Lord can negate 1. So basically, you're blanking a lot of damage every single turn with this list. Chaos Cult, because we should have 1 Chaos Cult in every list. 2 Legionnaires, both with Last Cannons and a Rhino, just in case you want to get some more pot shots off. We have 2 Chaos Rhinos, one for the 2 Legionnaires with the 2 Lords, and the other one for the Chosen. So 10-man Chosen squad with Bile. We have bikes at toughness 5, -1 to wound. The Terminator's toughness 5, -1 to wound. The Chosen toughness 5, -1 to wound. So it's a lot of -1 to wound against shooting. So we like the bikes in a lot of the lists for Chaos Space Marines. We put the Power Fist on the Lord because you get +1 strength on the charge. So now their chain swords are hitting at strength 5, AP 1, 4 attacks, and then the Power Fist is hitting at strength 9, AP 2. So I like the fist with the 2 plasma guns. And then we have 2 Predator Destructors. Last Cannons, I am still torn between Last Cannons and Heavy Bolters. But the Last Cannons, I think if you really just want some anti-tank in the list, we have 2 of them with Last Cannons, and then we have obviously 2 Last Cannons in the Legionnaires. So we basically have 4 Last Cannons in the list. Sorry, 2, 4, 6 Last Cannons in the list to try and take out some vehicles with the strengths or damage 6 +1. D6 +1 damage. Full 10-man Break a Terminator squad. This is so tanky in this detachment. You get the 5-up Feel No Pain into shooting. You get the -1 to wound. You get the 1 blanked failed save. There are 2-up, 4-up, toughness 5. Like, this is a almost unmovable unit. They didn't die the entire day. People just basically ignored them. They're super slow, so you have to put them in the correct spot that you want them, so that way you can actually use them throughout the game. But for us, you'll see the loadout that we have here. That is the loadout I would suggest on every single time you run these guys. And then the 10-man chosen. So the 10-man chosen was another thing I wanted to try out. I haven't run a 10-man chosen brick. Usually they just die, because if you could focus them down, they're going to die. Which that is probably one of the first things I would change about the list. Is I would just run more legionnaires, more rhinos, and probably another lord. Take out bile, take out the chosen, and just add another lord with legionnaires and another rhino. That's probably what I would do with this list. But still pretty cool. Like, they're a cool, awesome looking unit. 250 points, so you can bring 10 of these guys or 2 5-man legionnaires for 180 points and still have, what, 70 points left over to basically do another rhino and then take out bile for another lord. So like, that would give you basically 2,000 points and just have more units to play around with. And then allies, we have 6 Nurglings, which is under the cap for Call the Horde, which is hilarious. So it's 24 wounds. So they can't get Call the Horde for it. And it's freaking 6 Nurglings. Like, they infiltrate. They're really hard to deal with turn 1. If you go first and you infiltrate it, you can then just move up and just block them out the entire line. And there's 6 models, so you don't have to triangle them. You can basically spread them out 2 inches apart from each other, and it's like a 30-inch gap blocking out deep strikes and getting them on turn 1. So you might actually see a lot of 6-man Nurgle units in most of the chaos lists. I know I'm running them a lot. Then the rubrics, these guys didn't really come into play at all. I think having maybe 2 units of these guys or a big 10-man would be good in this detachment. But the 1 5-man was kind of just there. Like, I didn't notice a huge difference with these guys. I know they're probably way better in the Raiders detachment than this detachment, but there's something else I could probably take out and put something else in. Yeah, maybe I think I took these guys out and added Death Guard. So Death Guard, Plague Marines. But that's the list, guys. It's pretty basic. I did try to plan this list out since the codex came out, and then with the new update and stuff like that, I honed it in, and I was like, all right, this could be good on the table, and it actually performed pretty well. Again, some tweaks here and there, but I played 3 straight games, 3 tournament games in a new Pariah Nexus setting, and there's just some tweaks, and then this list will be really good. So if you want to make those tweaks to it, that would be my suggestion, and then you could play this in a tournament, and it would be really, really good. Alright guys, so if you're new to the channel, this is basically what we do, is we take pictures of our battle reports. They're about 30-minute battle reports. This is going to be 3 of those battle reports. I don't have the missions. I don't have what we had. At a tournament setting, it's really hard to kind of keep track of everything. I don't use the app in tournaments, and this comes up a lot where I write everything down manually. So I write down all the points every single turn. Manually, I write down his score, my score, and I track everything. And then the CP, I have this little thing in the corner over here. You guys can't really see it, but it's in this left corner right there. That's my CP counter. I keep track of the CP for both of us the entire game. Now, the reason why I do that is because there's a lot of things where they can mess up in the app. You have to really rely on your opponent to track everything. And with the new Pariah Nexus, there's a lot of actions where you have to survive to the next turn to get points. So you're going to have to go back and forth a lot. It eats up time. It eats up clock. There's a lot of questioning about it. So really just writing everything out in a tournament setting makes things so much easier. That's basically what I've been doing ever since I came back in 9th edition. I'm basically old school with the writing out, but I've never had an issue with us not having the same point. There's a lot of times where I'm like, all right, well, what did you have on turn 2? Oh, I had 10. Well, I actually had you at, 12, or I had you at 5, and then he's like, oh, I messed this up. Or let's say, how many points did I have on turn 3? I have you at 3, or actually, did you give me this one? Oh no, I didn't mark that in there. Perfect. Well, I wrote that out. That's why it's in there. So that's kind of why I read everything out. So in the tournament setting, we're just going to go over kind of what we did, where we moved, why we moved it there, my mindset on what I was trying to do and plan out. So this is going to be a really good Fellhammer tactical video when it comes to why I moved stuff and why I did what I did, if I can remember. So let's get into it. This is the terrain setup. This was provided by one of our local tournament players, Zach. He 3D printed all this terrain. I generally don't like how big it is. Like, it is literally 3 stories high. It's probably the height of a small child, honestly, on the table. The other ones are okay. This one is still pretty big. These are okay. Like, it's not the best, but they do what they got to do, you know, because you're trying to make it competitive. You're trying to make the store like competitive, so you have competitive players come out and do the showing. Some of these are off with measurements. I think this and this is too big. Like, they're 6 inches wide. They should only be 5 inches wide. So there's a lot of tables that are like up in the air. So we tried the best that we possibly can. So we made the measurements out. This is one of the new terrain features right here. And then everything else is kind of, it's good. I mean, it's run by a good TO, Jason. He runs his good shit. Really good players. And the store has a lot of merch. So like, that's why we like going out there, is because the people, the merch, and the competitiveness. That's why we like this store. So this is the terrain setup. The missions are right here. We have the 9-inch circle in the center, so you have to start in the corners. And obviously we played AdMech. So this is my first time in 10th edition playing AdMech, so I didn't know what the hell they did. But it was against a newer player that just came back in the edition and plays like 2 other armies, so he wanted to play AdMech because they just got the boost. So he was playing it. He's got a couple long striders, a bunch of these infantry guys. He had a bunch of these tanks. Let me get to these tanks right here. These far strider guys in the tanks. The characters, he had Call, which now can move through buildings. He had 2 of these big tank things. So 3 transport tanks, a bunch of infantry. Call was back here. He had the zombie guys with the big guns on the shoulders. So he had like 6 of those things, which you put into reserves. And for us, our deployment was, we basically wanted to keep everything behind cover so that we didn't get any shots turn 1. We had our Rhino right here with our Chosen and Bile, so that way they can advance and charge out if he gives me anything in the center. We have Cypher back here, so that way he can run up to this corner and just be there in case I need him to do the 12-inch bubble effect. So him being behind a corner on the first 2 turns is usually where you're going to be starting Cypher and playing Cypher, until you need to kind of advance him out because he has assault weapons, and you need to or move him out and then charge, so that way you can get deeper in the lines for the Vect. And then the Predators were back here. The other one was in the back over here. So that way if I move up, I can get line going down to this way. And if this guy moves up, I can get line going down to that way. So I just move up to get lines in these little kill zones right there. We have our 2 5-man Legionnaires up there, so that way they can move up, hop onto the objective. If I have an action, I can basically move up 12, hop out 3 behind this wall, and then do an action. So I don't want my Rhino shot turn 1 at all, so he's the one that's most protected. But he's going to be able to move up 12 because Rhinos are super fast. Then they can get out 3 and then do an action. Or if you don't have to get out, the Rhino basically just advances just to kind of get behind cover somewhere over there, or he moves up 12 and does an action like cleanse or something. Then the bikes are in this corner, so that way they can scooch up as well. So that's usually where I'm putting all my guys. Is the deployment is super key. If you don't deploy well, you probably will lose. Let's look at our opponent. The opponent started his tanks in the terrain, so that way you can shoot them, but they can't shoot you. This guy could be shot turn 1. This guy could be shot turn 1, and these guys, I don't think they can be shot. But if somebody was like playing aggressive and over here, they could basically scooch up and then get a line of sight to those guys. So the thing that he would change over here is kind of put this guy cockeyed behind this thing, this guy where I put this Rhino right there, and this guy would probably be a little bit back over here so he doesn't get shot. That would be his new deployment. So he had turn 1. He basically moves everybody up as far as they possibly can. This guy scooches up over here. All right, so what he did first was he moved up one of his tanks, the one that was right here with these guys. They basically moved up to here, which gave me a launching point for my Chosen. So when this guy moved from back there to up there to do an action, he let me basically kill the unit that I was afraid of the most. So I blew up the tank, then my Chosen advanced out of the Rhino, I blew the tank up, and then we charged and kind of engulfed the guys inside. And there were about 2 or 3 guys that lived because of the -1 to hit on his army, which was insane. So the -1 to hit, hitting on 4s with Chosen, not fun. No rerolls in this detachment. So Bile and the guys just advanced up, launched him across the table, and killed basically the tank and the guys inside, and then we left 1 or 2 of the guys that were inside, so we didn't kill fully. I wanted to kind of kill them and then pile onto the objective to either steal the objective or just tie these guys up in combat. But instead, he was able to fall back, and now there's a big-ass chosen unit on their side of the table, which has -1 to wound and 5 up field and pain against shooting. So we're really testing how much this unit can survive with this entire army just shooting at me, which was funny because we actually survived. Then up here, we did the same thing that I said. We basically advanced up the Rhino into this little section. The guys didn't have to get out because we didn't need to do an action over there. The bikes advanced up to be on the other side of the cover, and then his tank moved up, guys got out, and he just unloaded everything onto the Rhino, which then blew up the Rhino. So he killed the Rhino, guys got out, some of them got on the other side, some of them got out on this side, so that way there's no more shooting come in. So I don't care if they come out near them, because if they charge me, I'm just going to murder them. Then the other Rhino that dropped off the Chosen moved up here, so that way these Colses that did their job by making the back one sticky just moved up, waited a turn, and then they basically got into the Rhino and then the next turn, so that way they can go up and do something next turn. Cypher did exactly what I told him he was going to do, was move up in this corner and just wait. This thing is now within 12 inches, so if he has anything he wants to do on this, like Armor Contempt or something, this is going to be within 12 inches to do Vect. Predator, and I forgot to say the Nurglings infiltrated over here, so that way I could be protected, but if I need to, I can move up and kind of threaten this little objective back here with 6 freaking Nurglings. So he had 2 single stalkers that one of them I tied up. I tied up both of them actually, so I moved up, charged, piled into both, so that way I was basically tying up both these guys on turn 1, so they couldn't basically get out and shoot. I think they innately have fall back and shoot, which kind of sucks. But if it was a normal tank, they would have had to do something to fall back and shoot. And killing 6 Nurglings is really tough, honestly. Like, you have to put a lot of firepower into killing 6 Nurglings, which is wasting shots on other stuff. So he was thinking about bringing in his guys down here, but he didn't have a lot of shots into anything. He really had some shots into these guys, but that was about it. So he kind of saved it. I think he should have brought him in up here, just to put him on the table. So you bring him up here and you just put all the shots into this way, so that way I can't get rid of bile, so you just aim them all in this little corner right here. So you put them in here, aim that way into bile, so even if I remove some of them, you can still see bile, and I can't remove bile because he has to be removed last, so at least you're going to get all of your shots on that unit against bile. But at this point of the game, we rapid ingress our Terminators because he went first. So on the bottom of turn 2, top of turn 2, we rapid ingress our Terminators. So we get onto that point because we're trying to get some primary. So we deep strike down here. We put everybody out of line of sight. So I think he can get like 1 shot from this guy into there, but I'm not really worried about 1 last cannon. But everybody else kind of behind cover. So that way I can move up on the other side of the wall to this side and then use this guy as a launching point. I keep saying launching point. I'll explain that in one of my future videos, where you can use a model to kind of, that's really close, don't shoot it, you basically move up as close as you can or towards it, use that model to charge, and then kind of charge past it. As long as you end a little bit closer to that model on the other side of it, you can then pile into something else and attack something else. So the goal here was to kind of use this thing as a launching point and then get into combat with all of this juicy infantry and tanks up here. So that was going to be the goal, which worked. So the Terminators again moved up here. We left one guy pretty close going this way, so that way all these guys, you measure the distance from here to here, and if this guy, let's say, is example 8 inches away, he can charge diagonal this way, ending 8 inches or less away, but now he's closer to this model up here, so that way when you pile in, you can then pile in towards the closest enemy model, which then I can make attacks onto this model or these models. So that's kind of a little trick, is you just kind of move diagonal, you stay within range of, you know, the guy that you want to charge, like the closest guy. So that way when you roll the charge, you go diagonal, put somebody in combat. All of them, if they can't get base to base, they move kind of diagonal, and then you can buy into somebody else. So we brought on our 5-man dudes over here to kind of block out some reserves. So we just spread these guys out over here. We moved the Predator back to block out back here. We moved the Predator back to block out back here. So we had all this blocked out, and then the bikes spread out to block out of here. So if we think about it, we blocked out from this little section. Actually, all this is blocked out too. So these guys moved up and blocked out here. All he has to come in at is from this tank over here in the corner and around to his deployment zone. So this is the only section he can walk in from reserves because we blocked out basically everything else on the table. So we just spread out a lot. The cultists are in this rhino. Cypher moved up. Now this is pretty funny what happens to Cypher. This guy moved up to try to get onto the center objective. These guys hop back in the transport. These guys are just ready to kind of advance up and kill somebody. Chosen lived, so with the 5-up feeling of pain and the -1 to wound, helps out a lot, like a lot, especially an army that has a lot of strength 8+ weapons. It helps out a freaking ton. So that was awesome. That was really cool. Then the next turn, this is what happened to Cypher. So Cypher moved up, Dark Packs, fails, does 3 damage, finishes off the tank with 4 wounds. Tank blows up and then kills Cypher. So Cypher just went down in a blaze of glory. It was hilarious. Yeah, it was really funny, and that's kind of why you see me just getting like, fuck you, Cypher. Cypher killed something. First time using Cypher in Pariah Nexus, and he definitely did some work. So blew it up. So that thing's gone. I didn't have anything to charge. This guy was the only one left. I failed the charge. So we charged over here. I wanted to kill this thing so that way this guy can pile onto the objective. So I charged here, didn't put this guy in base to base, left him there. So that way once we kill this guy, he can then pile onto the objective to get the objective next turn. So we kill all of the basic guys over there. We kill all the basic guys on the objective back here with the Chosen that are still alive, which is freaking awesome. He brought in his guys all the way in the back corner here, which I'll show you. The Nurglings are still alive, just being super annoying in the back here with Terminators. So 10 Terminators moving up on your right side, 10 Chosen in front of you, and then 10 Legionnaires on the left side. Like, that's just not good for the AdMech moving forward. So we were kind of just engulfing them from all sides and blocking out the deployment zone. So by the end of the turn, this is where they came in at, the little corner there, the robot guys with the guns. He still has this tank here, which is in combat with my Terminators. Terminators are super slow, so you have to rapid ingress them as soon as possible. And this is basically wrapping up the game right here. So the Terminators are in combat with this vehicle who has 3 wounds left. There's a CP that can turn these guys into pistols, which actually came up in this game. So I turned them into pistols, and I think we blew it up. And when you blow it up with the pistols, you can then charge something else. So that's a really good stratagem with this detachment. This guy somehow lives with 2 wounds. But we have most of our army still left. Fabius Bottle still alive. Chosen are still alive. And that's it. So we end up, this is a game, so we get 13, 18, 18, 50 for primary. We get 40 for secondaries. This is capturing the flags for the secondary, so we can finish off with 100. Then for him, he had 3, because he held his home field objective turn 2, and then for the rest of the game, he didn't hold it at all. So he ended up with 3 for primary, and then 18 for secondaries. So we got a 3, 5, and 9. So we ended up with 31 out of 100. So this is just a brutal first game. Really good going into the second game with like, all right, I think I know this list pretty good. Yeah, so what we learned, shooting phase, you're really tanky. Melee phase, you're not very tanky. But shooting phase against a shooting army, you probably will just walk across the table and be fine. And just play the mission. Honestly, the Predators kind of just hung back because he was more focused about the guys in his face, and the Terminator slowly walking across the table, deep strike him on an objective, and then just either stay on the objective or just slowly walk towards the enemy by getting, you know, shot a little bit but surviving. So really, really good game into a newer player. Then game 2. This is against the Blood Angel player, Zach. He's one of the top Blood Angel players. He actually is fighting for #1 Blood Angel player in the world right now. So he plays at a lot of tournaments, goes to a lot of places with us. He's on the other Team Dumpster Fire team. And we always play at tournaments and GTs. So every time me and Zach play, it's super strict, super tight, super aggressive. And we have a pretty close standing when it comes to playing a really good, tight game. So he brings out the clock, which is smart. He says, basically, we're not going to play clock, but we do play clock. I probably should have paid more attention to clock because I didn't really care because I thought we weren't playing clock, but then we went up to playing clock. So I probably should have played clock more professionally, really. I just kind of like let him hit it back and forth, and I just did whatever. So I should have had a lot more time than I really did. But this is the deployment. So we have diagonal deployment, so going from 30 inches all the way to the side. I put my guys up here with the two lords in the rhino with the bike, same thing kind of as before. Predator over here, so he's got some flamer preds, which are really good, 2 damage flamers. So flamer pred there. I think there was a flamer pred. I thought there was another flamer pred somewhere else. Did he reserve it? No, he must have had 2 flamer preds. Did I blow it up? So that's where it was. So it was behind this little building right here. So 1 flamer pred over there, 1 flamer pred right there. Transport, blade guard in the transport. A bunch of jump infantry. He had the priest with the vanguard vet. Sorry if I get the names wrong. He had the sanguinor, which is insane off the board. He has the golden boy Dante with leading a unit of vanguard vets with jump packs who are off the board as well. He's got the jump pack dudes over here. He's got 2 scout units. I think 1 scout unit up here, the other scout unit over here. And 12-man no deep strike bubble in the back here. Still a really good unit. And for us, we put our Nurglings up here on the line behind the cover. And then we have the Predator. 10-man Terminators actually started on the board because I didn't want him to block me out of deep strikes. And I knew if he has, if he's aggressive with them, I need my guys to be on the table so that way I can counter and be more aggressive with them. So I tried putting them on the table this game to try and see if I can get the charge off before they charge me. So maybe that's something that I would have done differently, is just rapid ingress them, because he didn't really have too much board control, but he's fast enough to get board control, so I didn't want to test it. And then Chosen with Bile are in the rhino behind this cover, so that way they can advance out and do the same thing on the center. Cypher is somewhere over here as well. It was basically the same deployment as I did the last game, and the cultists are back here. And that was it. So he gets turn 1. So him moving up, he basically just planted everything forward. He moved this tank up here to do an action where he has to do an action in a terrain feature. If he lives, he gets those points. The scouts actually moved back up here. So the scouts were just afraid of really getting anything done turn 1, so they kind of backed out. They didn't really need to be on the objective over here. Our bikes committed, so our bikes moved up 12 to get in range of the plasma. He had a 10-man jump infantry that was here behind the wall, so they basically hopped out behind this cover, and there was basically 10 jump infantry with the character and the fist, and then the priest. So this was a super tanky unit with I think a 5-up feeling of pain. So him moving that there, I was like, all right, we're committing. We're putting, as much as it possibly can into that. We move the rhino up. Rhino gets out. We cleanse, I believe, on this objective with one of the guys or the rhino. I think we cleanse with the guys. The other guys get out to get some more shots off. We have our Chosen that committed. So the Chosen were in the rhino. They basically advanced up, and we want to kind of get the shots off on both these tanks. The other rhino scooches up to cleanse in the center, so all I have to do is control it. So the rhino scooches up, cleanse, and then we have, I think, Gauge, which cleanse and secure no man's land. So we secure there and there, which is good turn 1, and we get cleanse. Then Cypher scooches up, hurts himself again, doing 2 mortal wounds to himself. Nurgling spread out, so that way if he comes at me anywhere on both these sides, it's -1 to hit. Our Terminators move up to get some shots off on this tank, takes it down to 1 wound. I think we blow it up with the charge, and then we kill the tank, and then the guys get out. The Predator scooches over here to get some line of sight on these 5 guys that were on the objective. The Predator only killed 2 of them, so there's still 3 guys on the objective. Wasn't able to clear off that objective, and he was surprised on how much damage I put into this jump pack infantry unit turn 1. So he was surprised we put this much output on turn 1, which I was like, you kind of gave me a 10-man squad to shoot at, so that was kind of not good on your part, knowing that there's a Predator on this side of the table, just looking at him, and all the guys kind of over here ready to go. So Predator moved up. put all the shots into them, wounded them a ton. Bikes moved up, all the plasma and bolters. The Legionnaires scooted up, got out, plasma bolt guns. We threw a grenade as well, and then all the regular combi bolters. Then we charged in. We had a power fist, power fist, and then a regular a cursed weapon. So 1, 2, 3 over there. Bile and all these guys over here. Power fist into that thing, wasn't able to kill that, and then we just kind of wrapped it. So yeah, so we killed all of them and left the 2 characters alive right there. So we had a really good turn 1. His follow-up was, again, killed the Rhino. Guys got out. Cypher, good job, buddy. He hurt himself again, and I think he interrupted and killed. Yeah, so what had happened here was this guy committed, so I think they can fall back and charge. He basically moved down here to charge Cypher, to take Cypher off the board. So I'm like, all right, I have to try and save Cypher as much as possible, because he is definitely going to help out against Blood Angels, like really good with Armor Contempt, Heroic, Fight for, like all this stuff, he's going to help out a lot. So he basically commits that guy, charges up, charges Cypher, the Blade Guard, these guys get out of the tank that was behind the wall, charge into my Rhino, and he made the charge into my Bile and these guys as well. Everybody dies but Bile. So Bile's still alive on 1 wound, and he basically nuked the rest of the squad. So again, the squad is not good in melee. Anything that just has a ton of attacks like Blood Angels and AP, like you are going to kill this detachment really easily in melee. So melee was a really hard counter to Iron Warriors. But we interrupted with Cypher, and Cypher nuked the character in combat. That was a freaking play right there. We gave him a little thumbs up from killing that captain. That was freaking nuts. So what we have left is we countered Heroic down here for free with the Lord. So he moved up his guys over here. They basically charged my Predator. We countercharge into these guys, finished these guys off, and then we kept them up here so that way we can pile into these guys. So we strung them out so that way we only needed a couple of them to kill these guys, so that way we can pile in this way and either get into combat or just get closer that way. These guys are still, they kind of swap places. A new unit came down over here. We rapid ingressed our dudes in the back corner here, the Rubrics, so that way they can hopefully move up and try and fight on this objective with some flamers. So Rubrics moving up, putting a ton of flamers onto these guys and potentially charging to try to get the objective back. So that's what I was trying to use the flamers for, is rapid ingress and just steal objectives. Bike still alive over here against the scouts. We still have both of our units over here, and I think this is where he starts to bring in the jump infantry. So the jump infantry rapid ingress over here, which is super scary. They got Dante. They're about to hop up and just murder all of my legionnaires on this objective up here. So he plays it right where he's got jump infantry, so he moves up and then makes the charge on here, but since he's fly, he can basically fly over me. So when he charges in, he gets base to base with everybody and then gets over here so that way he can pile into this unit, so that way Dante and a couple characters can kill this unit, and then the regular guys can just kill this unit. So really good play by Zach there. Both of our Predators are still alive. Terminators finish off that unit. This unit's fight first. Cypher's still alive somehow. Nurglings are still alive. And I think he weighted this thing too far back. Like, this thing should have been way more aggressive for some Overwatch. We killed the one early. We killed that guy turn 1 as well. So Predator tank was up there. We nuked it with a bunch of last cannons, killed it. And then we killed the guy. So really good turn 1 for us. But you can see he has 32 minutes left. I have 23 minutes left. Like I said, wasn't really paying attention to the clock. So I played like almost an hour game in an hour and 30 minutes because I just wasn't hitting it back when I should have. So that was my mistake. This is when I started like paying attention. Like, all right, I got 20 minutes left. I got to play 3 turns. It's only turn 2, so I got to play 3 turns in 20 minutes. This is where he starts to turn up the heat with me and Zach. Cypher or Bile got back up, so Bile died, got back up on the objective. Terminators are just kind of scooching really slowly across the table. And let's get into the next turn. So Next turn, I think he charges into me. He's got fight first. He's not able to kill me in combat. I think I take out some of the Terminators back here just so I can get these guys up closer into combat, because if I take these guys, I won't get enough tax into them. The character comes into my Nurglings and kills Cypher finally. So he finally kills Cypher. Sanguinary, like you said, Dante scooted up, killed all but the Lord. So there's one Lord left. He then fought back, killed maybe 2 or 3 of them, not a lot. But now he's got a big 10-man unit right here. I still have both my Predators here, so I'm trying to line up to get some shots off on here. He moves up his Flamer guy finally. These guys are still chilling in the back here because I can't get to him at all. My Flamer guys scooch up, charge. He then heroics into my Flamer guys with Sanguinor. Kills my Flamer guys, so now I'm literally just sitting there with one Flamer guy on the objective. So not going good. Blood Angels are looking really good right now, but you saw his turn went from 30 to then 14. So he's got 14 minutes, I got 20 minutes left. So we are literally running down to clock. He's got 19 seconds left and I have 0 left. So we finish off turn, all of those 3 turns. So we got 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 5. I have bottom of the turn, so basically I have to try and get max primary while getting max secondary, and if I can, then we'll win the game. So what we have left is the Lord somehow lived through all of that. I think he hopped back in the Rhino. So when he fell back, he just basically fell back into the Rhino. That was over here. We have 4 Nurglings left. We have some regular cultists up here on the objective. He's got the Sanguinary guard. I think I killed the Dante with some grenades and random pot shots. We have a Predator left, which was clutch. We have a Rhino on the other side of the wall here. We have a Predator down here with 8 wounds left. And I believe that is really it. So we really had nothing left on the table. This thing is still sticky. We had a Predator on this zone, so we controlled that at the end of the game. We controlled that, so we get 10, and then we get some secondaries at the end. So this is the end of the game. We have a Lord. He's got these 3, and I have 2 Predators. So that's all that's left at the end of the game. 0-0 for a clock. And this is the score. So end of the game, we finish off with a 94. We get 10, 10, 10, 10, and then 5 at the end. He gets 10, 10, 10, and then 5. So we finish off 45 to 35, so we got a 10 on primary. And then for secondary, we had a good turn 1, turn 2, 4, 5, 9. So pretty good secondaries, 39 out of 40. And then for him, the secondaries kind of shit the bed. So we had 3 turn 1, 5, 5, 2, 2. So we really just crushed him on the secondary score. Finished off with a 94 to 62. So it really came down to like the last 2 turns and the clock, really. Like he just got 2-0, 2-0. Like that was just brutal for him. But again, really good game. Always good game with Blood Angels, and especially against Zach. So next time, Zach, we were playing clock, strict clock. And we're going to have a good time. Thing that he would change, I think, is running these guys, the Bale Flamers, which are really, really good, more aggressively. The thing that I would change is I would probably rapid ingress my Terminators, probably to go like more towards this way, so that way I can go after his tanks on this side and kind of take over his home field objective. I think everything else I played fine. Bio, I don't know if I should have committed all that turn 1. I think I should have just moved up the Rhino, done cleanse, and then he'd have to blow up the Rhino to get the guys inside. Which if I had just charged 10 chosen into a unit, I definitely could kill the unit. But yeah, getting around fight first, knowing how to get around fight first against Blood Angels is key, because he had 2 units with fight first against this army. So going after like charging tanks and then piling into them, or putting cultists into them first and then piling into them, like stuff like that is how to get around fight first. So practice that against Blood Angels. So last game, Demons. Demons, really good player. All right, so I can't wait to talk about this game. Edgar he wins AOS all the time. He's a really, really good competitive player. His goal is to win a GT really soon. I know he's going to do it. He's probably one of the best players I've played. And he plays Chaos Demons, which got a huge buff. So his list is pretty cool. He's got Slaaneshi Demons. He's got the Seekers, which I was like, yes, I run Seekers too. He's got the Chariot Chick. He's got the Mask, which was cool. I'd never seen the Mask before. Shellax Dude, the Demon, the Greater Demon, another Greater Demon, and then there was a Greater Demon in reserves. He also had a Brigand, and then 2 Soul Grinders. So, and then he had 2 units of Fiends as well. So Fiend, Deep Strike, Soul Grinder, Deep Strike. Maybe he had 1 Soul Grinder. No, he had 2 Soul Grinders. Okay. So we deploy the step up zone, so it's kind of like long table edges. Really weird deployment, but cool deployment because it's got new stuff. So we got new stuff to test out. We put everything kind of in cover so that way his brigands couldn't get line of sight to me on turn 1. And then we put Bile with the Chosen in the corner over here with the bikes behind them. Kind of the same strategy we've been doing, as bikes are just trying to get at the objective. Objective over here. And then we have a cultist back here to kind of screen out a little bit. We have the 2 legionnaires over here with the predator over here. So that way, if he does move kind of towards this way, I can get a predator to get line of sight, anything that steps into this ruin. And then we have the dudes spread out as far as I could to stop the Seekers from getting the scout move up. So we were 9 inches away from the deployment. They can't go through ruins, so they have to go through this way, and they can't because of the Nurglings. So this was the one where I think it's kill more and then hold more. So this was, you can't get it turn 1 now, so they changed that so player 1 doesn't get screwed. So I used my Nurglings really aggressively this game because I wanted to block out the Seekers, and if I do go turn 1, I can move up and kind of just be annoying to block out the big bases and the big demons from getting through these zones. So if I put like 1 Nurgling there and then kind of chain it out, put 2 Nurglings over there, he can't move through the ruins at all. So that was the goal. But he ended up going first. I went second every game this tournament. He redeployed, I believe, the Brigand. Yeah, so he redeployed the Brigand back there. I didn't redeploy anything. So he gets turn 1. He scout moves his Seekers kind of this diagonal in his deployment zone, and then he moves them up and advances them up to spread them out over in this kind of like long edge over here. He kills all but 1 Nurgling with the shots from this guy, the random shots from the Brigand. So the Brigand and I think this chick. Yeah, it wasn't a ton of shots, but he killed 5 out of 6 Nurglings. So what I did was I was like, all right, I don't want to give them a free kill next turn because if you kill more than me, you get more points. So what I did was I moved him up and I charged his 1 chariot that was behind the wall here, and I kind of used him as a sacrificial pawn. So when I moved him up and charged him in the chariot had to attack him back. So with all the chariot's attacks, he killed my Nurgling on the bottom of turn 1 so that I didn't give him a free kill. Nurgling wasn't really going to do anything for me with only 1 of them, so I was like, all right, here you go. Go kill my Nurgling for me. So what had happened up here was he is now preparing. I moved my... my secondaries weren't the best turn 1, so I had to get on this objective, and then I had to block out all of his deep strikes over here. Now what's cool about Fellhammer is they have a stratagem that's -2 to charges. So if the demons come down from deep strike 6 inches away from you, and then you spend 1 CP to get -2 to charges, they now have an 8-inch charge compared to a 6-inch charge. This is a huge bonus if you're running this detachment against demons. So it was really funny. I had a good counter into the demons going into it, but they are also melee demons, and I'm only good into shooting demons. So what we did was we spread out as much as we possibly can. We didn't get a lot of shots. We only had some shots on the Seekers. This demon scooted up there, so we had 1 shot over there. We basically had both last cannons and these last cannons into the demon, and we only did like 2 wounds to it. if that. I don't think we wounded at all. He had a lot of good invuln saves. And then what had happened up here, which I was super surprised at, she's got precision. So we try to keep Bile safe, so we put Bile all the way back here, so that way she couldn't get line of sight on a Bile to try and precision out Bile as soon as possible. So we put 2 inches away, and we strung all these guys out 1 inch away from the wall up here. And then we put the guys over here. We used the Rhino as kind of like a sacrificial, like, you can't get to my chosen, because he could get around. Like, she's speed 14, she can advance and charge. So he was measuring, he can get basically all the way up to here without the advance. So then he does advance, so he advances all the way up to like right next to here. Brigand scooches around, gets line of sight on the Rhino. So I try and protect the Rhino, because if the Rhino survives, my chosen survive. If the Rhino dies, I'm in a world of hurt. So what he does next is, and this was such an intense game between me and him. So what happened was, over here the chick moved up, gets placed here, he drops a soul grinder right next to him within 6 inches, and then he drops the other demon within 6 inches right here. So I got a big demon here, a Shalaxi here, and a soul grinder there, and then a brigand right behind that. So all of these guys are just aiming at the Rhino. Now the Rhino is -1 to wound. I do smoke and a feel no pain. I think I did smoke, feel no pain, and it's -1 to wound. So I spent 2 CP on this Rhino to try and to live, and it survives. The brigand shooting at it takes it down to like 4 wounds or something. So it survives against the brigand. Then it survives against the soul grinder, shooting all of its shots in it. Then it survives with the 1 demon. So I survived a demon, a soul grinder, and a brigand by doing the -1 to wound, the smoke, and 5 up feel no pain. So we did all that. Then he shoots with the last thing. On the last wound, he takes it down and then kills the Rhino. So everything that happened worked perfectly. I then spend 1 CP on my chosen for him to have a 8-inch charge. So Shalaxi, I think, had an 8-inch charge, and then the other demon who had to go around the wall, because I did somehow leave the 1 warrior within 1 inch of the wall, which I don't think should have been. Like, if I should have said it out loud, if like everybody was 1 inch away from the wall, he couldn't get to me. So that was just my mistake. That was placement mistake on my part. So if I have just Shalaxi going into me, I probably survive this combat. But instead, I had 2 greater demons that have AP a shit ton and 3 damage attacks going into me. So they basically charge in. The first one rolls an 8, gets the charge off, right? Even at -2, gets the charge off, and then the second one rolls a 9, and then gets the charge off. So both of them, even with -2 to charges, made both their charges and basically took out the entire squad besides Bile. So that was brutal, losing my entire 10-man chosen brick to 2 demons, my Rhino to all of their shots on turn 1. So I was like, shit, this is not good. This is definitely not good. So after his turn, I rapid ingress my guys kind of back here. So when he did all of that, I rapid ingress my Terminators back here so that I can have some type of play going into his Fiends, his Seekers, and kind of taking over his backfield objective over here. So now again, these guys are super slow. I probably should have spread them out a little bit more. But yeah, so they basically moved up, shot, killed a bunch of the guys, charged the Fiends, killed both Fiends. So what he had left up here was Shalaxi now is just making her way around here to kind of come in my backfield. I have my bikes that move up. Bile moved over. The Brigand's on the objective here. The other chick is over here. I move up my Legionnaires with the Lord. The other Legionnaire with the Lord over here. And then the Flamer guys walked in over here to try and kill, I think, one of the Mask. So the Mask was over here that got deep struck down. So the Mask survived. The 1 demon engine came down over here. The other demon was back here, kind of ran around this way. So I have 2 Legionnaires, or 1 Legionnaire over here, 1 Legionnaire over there. And this guy has 15 wounds still. This one has 12 wounds, and Shalaxi wasn't even touched. So I'm trying to whittle down as much as I can, throwing grenades, last cannons, pistols, whatever I can shoot at these demons to try and whittle them down. So hopefully I can do something in melee. Cypher scooted up. Cypher did actually quite a bit of damage into this guy. We have 3 cultists left over here. We have a predator, and obviously the Terminators killed everything up here. So what we did was we spread out to try and get the objective. He charged into here, left my Lord, I believe, alive. Charged into here, killed all but the Lord. This guy charged into here. I interrupted with the Lord, and this is the crazy part. So this is the Lord that had the anti-vehicle 3+. We go Kamehameha, we Dark Pact, and then we roll like, I don't know, 2 extra sustain hits, and then I get wounding on 3s. So I wound all of them on a 3+ and do devastating wound 3 damage. I think I wounded him 5 times. So just devastating wounds, 15 wounds go through, and I'm looking at my dice. He's looking at me. I'm looking at him. He's looking at my dice. I'm like, these are dev. He's like, what? I was like, yeah, these are 3 damage dev against anti-vehicle because I have the enhancement. He's like, fuck. So I felt bad because I went over everything in the beginning of the game, but he's like, I probably wouldn't have charged him knowing that he had dev. And I was like, well, I mean, yeah, you probably still have a soul grinder, but if I didn't kill him, then you would kill my Lord, and it's kind of like, I don't have anything left. So luckily I just lucked out and rolled 5 devastating wounds into your soul grinder, killed the soul grinder, so my Lord's alive against this demon over here. So I have 1 flamer guy, 1 Lord that just went Kamehameha and Super Saiyan onto this soul forge and killed it 1 shot. That was insane. We were just laughing so hard, and then he kind of got pissed because he didn't know that guy had it, and I was like, fuck, I feel bad. So I was like, do you want to take it back? He's like, nah, I'll just leave it. So he was basically winning at this point because all I had left was a unit of Terminators all the way in the back. I had 1 Lord, Cypher, and then Bile, and then I think I had 1 Predator left. But Shalaxi kills anything that she touches. So after this play right here won me the game. Soul Grinder, Deep Struck back here. This was the little play right here. So this guy lived with 2 wounds, 1 shot at the Soul Grinder. So 1 shot at the Soul Grinder, got back in the Rhino. He scooted up. She is on 1 wound. I left her on 1 wound after I made that charge. So this is the charge that won me the game. See these guys all the way over here? We measure out 17 inches from this guy to this guy. So it's my turn now. I move up my 5 inches directly towards it. I'm now 12 inches away, but I also am trying to scooch this way as well. So when I moved up this way, if I make that charge, cool. If not, I'm like preparing for next turn to do something. But what had happened was I made that 12-inch charge. When I was like, YOLO, when I rolled the dice and he saw the 6, the other one spinning, all of a sudden 6, and then boom, I just made a 12-inch charge to basically win the game. Without that 12-inch charge, game's over. He wins the game. It's whatever. So I don't want to say we lost the game, but we basically lost the game. Like, this was a really, really hard matchup. He played it very well. He killed exactly what he had to kill on turn 1. He needed to blow up a Rhino, roll a 9, roll an 8 on the charge, and kill my entire chosen unit, and he did. Like, happened perfectly in that order, and it kind of went down from there. But I should have not put these guys all the way in the backfield and kind of used them more in the center and just kind of camp the center in these 2 maybe. So these guys were just out of place on my part. But we make that charge. So we make that charge. Bile makes that charge. So I put Bile into him, this guy into him. We actually barely kill it, but we kill it with the Chain Fist, Power Fist, and even Bile's attacks killed the thing here. And then we put some attacks into the 1 chick over here, and I think we finish her off over here. So the Lord gets into her, these guys get into her, finally finish off that demon. He charges my Predator, kills the Predator, and then this demon is still alive over here. And he's got the mask somewhere over here. So at the end of that turn, the demon survived with 1 wound over here. We then scooted up, went on these objectives, finished off this demon over here. The Soul Grinders died as well. Or no, the Soul Grinder got picked up and brought back on his backfield objective to try and get some primary points. So Soul Grinder was over there, got picked up, brought back in his deployment zone. I still have Bile on the other side of this wall here, camping this zone. Then we have a unit of Terminators, and then I have one Predator down here that's about to die from Shalaxi. So he doesn't have enough models left to really do actions for secondaries, and I don't have enough shit to kill to try and kill more for the primary. So this is kill more, hold more. So that's the one where you get 4 or 8. And you could just see at the end of the game, it came down to really just holding more because I had bottom of the turn, so I'm able to hold more than him. So I held that one and then these two, and then he held those two, and I couldn't really kill anybody else. So I was just trying to like flub up, do all this stuff. End of the game, we had 8 because I killed more, and I don't think I held an objective, so we had 0. On turn 3, we had 4 and 4, so we were only able to kill and then hold, kill and hold. And then turn 5, we were able to hold more and then kill 1. So we finished off with, I believe, 36. Sorry about the scribble. 36 out of 50. He had, so I had 8, 8, 8, 12. He had 8, 12, 8, 8. So 30, he had 40 out of 50 for primary. And then for the secondary score, I had 5, 9, 7, 9, and then the last turn, I think I had 3. So finished up with 37. And then he had 0 turn 1. I had 5. He had 7, 9, 9, 7, 8, 9, and then 0 on turn 5. So really came down to the secondary score for him. Finished up with 24 out of 40. So final score 77 to 74. So one more turn of him killing or holding more, he would have beat me. If one of these turns, turn 1 or turn 5, he would have got a secondary score, he would have beat me. So it really came down to just brutal 12-inch charge, you know, crazy stuff. One-shotting a Soul Grinder, him killing everything he needed to kill turn 1. Like, that whole sequence was just worked out perfectly for him. The Rhino definitely took a ton of damage. Usually he doesn't have all this stuff lined up to shoot out a Rhino, so I know now if you run this detachment, a Rhino can survive pretty long in this detachment and keep the guys inside safe if you really want to keep them safe. So I really honestly like this detachment. I definitely would run it again. The things, like I said, would change is take out the Chosen with Bile. It was niche, but I would definitely add more units to just be in more places and more shots out of a Rhino at any given time. And then just another Lord to do more free stuff. So the enhancements are great. The 3+ anti-vehicle is really good. The blanking of a failed save, you can see the Terminators lived the entire 3 games that I played them. So having the Terminator Lord with the Bastion plate and 10 Terminators should be in every Iron Hands list, no doubt. 2 Predators were okay. Like they did okay. They were mainly in the backfield most of the game, just trying to survive and get kind of like little ping shots off, kill the transports. Haven't tried the Vindicator yet. I think the Vindicator with, you know, toughness 11, 2-up save, -1 to wound if you're shooting at it with like last cannon stuff, that's gonna be really tricky. And then giving it a 5-up field of pain, like I think Vindicators would be really good. And yeah, and the Legionnaires with the Lords are just busted. So -1 to wound against shooting, and then he gets 4 rerolls to wound on an objective with his devastating hammer, 3 damage. Like that does kill a ton of stuff. So the Lords with the Legionnaires getting on objectives is definitely a good, you know, combo. So hopefully you guys learned something from the placements, the strategies, the tactics that we did use here. Hopefully these pictures helped you guys out. I will keep doing them. I love the comments below on what you liked, didn't like, how can improve on the channel and stuff like that. If you are getting into competitive Dirtbags or competitive 40k in general, competitive Dirtbags is the way to go. That's on the Patreon page. You guys get to message me or any of the coaches that we assigned you, even if it's not the armies that we play. that I play specifically, but I do have coaches on the Dirtbags to coach you specifically on that army. So Grandmasters, you get specific one-on-one coaching, a call every single month to go over anything you want to prepare for a GT or an RTT. And then if you guys are competitive Dirtbags, we go over list ideas, tactics, all that stuff you need. It's always good to have a coach in your corner. So if you guys want any of the merch, head over to Discord. If you guys want the terrain, the Strike-Star lasers. If you guys want dice, it's 10% off. And we are going to LSO. We are going to Nova. And we're going to Las Vegas. So those are going to be the next 3 GTs that me, Mike, and the couple buddies are going to go out to. But guys, appreciate it. Hopefully you enjoyed the Iron Hands. I definitely liked them a lot. I'm going to keep the Night Lords theme. That is going to be my my army painted forever. And we got the Night Lords RTT coming up in the next video, because we did win with a weird Night Lords build, because Night Lords is the worst attachment, but we did win with it, and you'll see why. So stay tuned for that. If you guys are Patrons, all these videos go up first on patreon.com before they hit YouTube. And there's special tactical videos on Patreon that you can't get on YouTube. So appreciate it. Good luck. And we'll see you in another video soon. What's up, gents? 40k Dirtbags here. If you guys are thinking about joining the Patreon page, we're going to go over each tier and how it's going to benefit you and what you're looking for specifically to get out of 40k in 10th edition coming up. There's a lot of stuff to go over. There's a lot of tactical videos up on the channel, which is for free. There's going to be a bunch of perks that you get specifically for being a part of the Dirtbag Nation Patreon page. So first off, we have the first tier, which is $1 a month. You guys get first access to the videos over at patreon.com. You also get access to the Discord, which is specifically a private link in the Discord that only Patreon members can see. So you guys will have first access to that. Also a benefit is Patreons over the Dirtbag Nation get live streamed games on patreon.com streamed from YouTube, but there's only links specifically for the patreons.com. So not only do you get first access to these videos, you also get to see live stream games specifically only on patreon.com. The next tier is the Justicar. You guys get a shout out on every single video on YouTube. You also get to support us a little bit more. You get first dibs at voting on Discord, as well as you just kind of say, hey, I just want to be a Justicar Dirtbag and support you guys a little bit more than that $1 a month tier. But you get all the same access as well as the different color over on the Discord. So the third tier is the competitive Dirtbag. This tier, you get a lot more one-on-one coaching. This is a lot of the Dirtbags over on the Dirtbag Nation. They are able to send out messages one-on-one, go over list ideas, tactics, anything you guys want to talk about. When I was getting into 40k, or really any game in general, I always wanted to message the top players in the meta and just ask them questions. This $10 a month tier gets you that opportunity to message us one-on-one on Discord, so that way we can actually coach you, give you our insights, suggestions, and that's going to get you better at the 40k 10th edition as a whole. So that tier alone, just $10 a month to have one-on-one coaching, one-on-one messages anytime throughout the month, that's going to be a perfect tier for you guys. Even if you're brand new to the game, we go over 1,000-point list, 1,500-point list, 2,000-point brand new starting list, team list, anything you guys need. That's what the competitive Dirtbag tier is for. Also, you get a little bit red number name tag on Discord, so people know that you're really serious about getting into the competitive scene. The Grandmaster Dirtbags. This is the all-in-all $25 a month tier. You get one-on-one coaching, everything we said prior to this, but you guys get to see me, Mike, any of the other Dirtbags play your specific list that you want to see tested out live on one of our battle reports. You guys get to mention, suggest videos you guys want to see coming up on patreon.com. So you guys get the above first tier benefit of everything that we do over at Dirtbag Nation. All the support mainly comes from you guys supporting us over here at Dirtbag Nation. And Grandmasters, I can't thank you enough, but for $25 a month, you get one-on-one coaching and anything you want to see live on the tabletop. So you get to see a professional play right in front of you. You guys get to kind of like see it one-on-one, and I'm actually making this specifically for you. There's also TTS events that you guys can suggest. If you guys want to do a first 1 or 2 turn run through on TTS, we can actually log in and coach you one-on-one with that. If you guys see us at any GTs, you guys get special benefits, free dice, stuff like that. Anytime you purchase a merch thing on Discord, you guys get a free limited edition Dirtbag dice sent to you with every single purchase on top of that. So there's a lot of benefits coming up with the Grandmaster Dirtbag. You guys, I can't thank you enough for supporting us.
definitely let me know which tier would be best for you if you go over to patreon.com and specifically go to a tier. And make sure you don't forget to message me up on Discord. That's where we check every single day. If you guys are really into getting into 10th edition 40k, head over to Patreon, join the competitive Dirtbag or the Grandmaster. Message me as many times as you possibly want, and I'll coach you the best I possibly can on any specific army that you guys play. Mainly our armies right now, currently, going into 2024, is going to be Chaos Space Marines, Grey Knights, Death Guard, and then we have Custodes, Sisters, and I think that's it going into the Wings of 2024. But again, any other army that you guys play, we have other coaches lined up for the Dirtbags that are ready to take on that role of the competitive Dirtbag page. So guys, really appreciate it. Thanks for clicking on the video. Thanks for joining the Dirtbag Nation if you guys are already part of us. And we'll see you in another video soon.